Hello, good morning. I hope I'm talking loud enough. It's super early in the morning, and I don't want to wake up the kids because then I'll have kids awake at 5 in the morning. Um, I, surprise, it's me. Um, I have a story that I really felt called um, to share this morning, and you guys are my audience, so I hope you can relate. I hope you need to hear it as much as I did. Okay, so funny story. Yesterday, I ordered some books like a week ago, and they came yesterday. And as I unboxed them, I had this like moment. I keep like searching for the word. The word was first I thought, oh, this is interesting, and then I thought, oh, this is strange. Okay, so the two books I got, they might be backwards. I apologize. How to Keep House While Drowning. If y'all are in a similar season to me, maybe you feel this struggle. I'm not really like, I don't bend towards a super tidy house, but um, that's just who I am. And so now that I'm home all the time and the kids and I are home all the time together, I really want to have a tidier house so that we can exist happily. Um, okay, so how to keep house while drowning. It's irrelevant why I got it. And then the other one is The Well Watered Woman. So sorry. Um, these are the two books that came, and again, as I unboxed them, I thought, what what's happening right now? So I took some notes. I hope y'all will forgive me, but um, it's just so strange that currently I'm so thirsty for comfort and for calm and for peace while simultaneously drowning in worldly striving, in worry, and in frustration. I mean, these two things are happening at the exact same time, and I don't think that's by chance. So I wanted to share with you. It's my favorite Bible story. I'm like very partial to it. So there's a reason my shirt is what we're going to be reading about today. There is another in the fire, is what it says. So I'm going to go to the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 3. And I'm going to paraphrase like probably the first half of it, and then we'll really get into like the meat and potatoes of the story for what I wanted to talk about today. So, there's this king. His name is Nebuchadnezzar. Not important necessarily to the story. Good to know. Um, but he like really loves himself. He loves himself a lot, and he wants everyone else to love and worship him as well. He just thinks he's the best king there ever was. So, Nebuchadnezzar made this giant statue um, of gold for people to worship. And so anytime this beautiful music plays, everyone in his land is supposed to stop what they're doing and worship Nebuchadnezzar. Um, so this is a problem for some friends, and um, that's what we'll get to. So these Babylonian men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they're like, oh, no thanks. Like I can't worship your statue because I believe in the one true God, and this is idol worship, and we're out on this. Sorry. And so they bring these men to Nebuchadnezzar, and he says, "You have one more chance." It's probably not really what he said, but he's fired up because these guys are like, I can't. I'm sorry. You're an okay king, but I can't worship these idols. Um, so he's furious. And he fires up this furnace. And he tells the men who are firing it up to make it hotter than it's ever been before. He's so mad. So he orders these men to load them up, tie them up, all three of them, tie them up tight together, take them to this furnace and throw them in. And actually, interestingly enough, the men who are taking him to the furnace actually burn up and die because the furnace is so hot. I have to run to the gate. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. John needed me to go close the gate. Okay, so the king's mad. Again, his guys burn up. But before that, I missed a part that I wanted to share that was important. So King Nebuchadnezzar asks the men, if you do not worship, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand? And that is verse 15, verse 15 of chapter 3 of Daniel. And so they reply to him. They say, King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the burning furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it. Notice they didn't say he absolutely will, but he's able to. And he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. So either way, he's going to deliver them. But even if he doesn't, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. So he's going to save us. They're telling him, one way or the other, that he's going to save us. But even if he doesn't, that doesn't change how we feel about him. Okay, so then he's super mad. Keep going here at verse 19. He throws them into this fire, right? The dudes who throw them in die. So they're in the fire, firmly tied into the blazing furnace. Verse 24 it says, Then King Nebuchadnezzar leapt to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, Weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire? And they said, Certainly, your majesty. That's it. He said, Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed. And the 4th looks like the son of the gods. Sorry, a son of the gods. Nebuchadnezzar then approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here. So they came out of the fire. And all the royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair on their heads singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and defied the king's command, and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god, little g, except their own God, big G. Therefore I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces, and their houses be turned into piles of rubble. For no other God can save this way. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Okay, I have thoughts. I'm sure you do too. But let's talk about it. So, the takeaways that I have here are the king is still making threats. Granted, he sees the power of the mighty God. But unfortunately, when that change happens, we're not instantly perfected to this new holy life, right? There are still sins. We still have growing to do after that moment happens. So the king is still making threats. The guys, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, they got a promotion, so that's cool. But for me, what really stands out is they were not alone in their struggle. The 3 of them were in a struggle, but they weren't alone. And so the enemy meant to destroy them through this king, but God turned it for good. He made a really bad situation into something worthy of praise, and we're still reading about it today. So whatever your struggle is today, obviously mine's drowning in housework, parenting, whatever the struggle is that you're going through, whatever the enemy is making or trying to make evil, whatever he means for evil in your life currently, I just pray, I really pray that you feel the comfort of a God who loves you so entirely deeply that he will go into a literal fire with you. He didn't rescue them out of it, but what he did was maybe even more impactful because he was there with them. They weren't alone in this hot fire that they didn't even feel. Um, so to keep us safe, he'll go to those lengths. And he sent his only son to die a death that we deserve. So even while we're struggling, even in the midst of the hard, we have this God. And in my drowning in housework, I have to remember that I literally have a lifeguard. He can walk on water and part. I mean, he has all the power to save me. I just have to reach for his life raft and hold on to the hope that this is hard, but it's not bad. Um, and so anyway, I'm praying for you guys. I'm not sure, like maybe there's one of you that needed to hear this. I hope so, and I hope that it touched your heart. If you want prayers, if I can pray for you, if John can pray for you, comment. If you can send a message, I don't really know how that works, but we also have a Facebook page, McNabb Egg Farm, hoping to change that to McNabb Homestead. Um, and then John and I are both on Facebook and Instagram as well. So if we can pray for you, please reach out. And then if you're hoping, if this relationship that I'm talking about with a God who goes into fire and gives his only son and loves us so deeply, if you don't have a relationship yet with that God, with my God, please reach out. He's the only well that will never run dry. So in our thirst for hope and life, he's the only thing that can really fulfill that need. So anyway, I hope that you guys have an incredible day. I hope that you are just filled with comfort and peace today, that you are not allowing the worldly things to derail godly things. Have a great day.